In this experience report, we, meaning a team of hearing HCI design researchers, describe our approach to and our main lessons learned from conducting ability-based focus groups with native sign language users in a remote environment. Worldwide, there exists a broad variety of different sign languages, and many deaf and hard of hearing individuals understand their local sign language as their mother tongue, identifying themselves not as disabled but rather as members of dedicated communities. As hearing HCI researchers, creating technological solutions that fit to the behavior, to the abilities, to the needs of these communities requires a strong involvement and communication effort towards their members. The moment we miss out on that communication, we are forced to rely on our own assumptions, which can be severely misleading, seeing that we ourselves have only limited experience with sign language and have never experienced hearing loss. So we simply cannot understand what it means to be a native signer and must therefore integrate and communicate directly with the target group. The research project Ergosign aims to do precisely that by studying the development of an avatar that can translate German text in real time into German Sign Language. For this, we are working in a mixed team, including both hearing researchers from various domains within computer science and HCI, but also with deaf experts for sign language. So within the project, we conducted remote focus group sessions with native signers from various age groups to really get a better understanding of their actual needs and pain points. We chose the method of focus groups because even though they are criticized in literature for carrying a high risk of falsified input through user opinions, they can actually offer a promising approach for working with native signers because they allow for participants to stimulate each other and exchange common experiences. With native signers being direct members of our Ergosign research team, we were not only able to occupy the role of the moderator with a highly informed native signer from within our own team, but we were also able to identify barriers in our planned procedures, both through the actual focus groups but also through our internal exchange beforehand. What we realized above all is the importance of including native signers not only as participants but as active members into the research team from the very beginning of any project. We also learned that language accessibility in any form must go beyond the simple translation of the method itself. Instead, actually all forms of contact with the participants should be translated into their preferred language, including consent forms, questionnaires, or even simple email requests. In contrast to discussions in spoken language, averting visual focus in sign language discussions leads to a direct loss of information. So, researchers need to carefully consider how they want to navigate their participants' visual attention. And finally, researchers intending to work with native signers should consider translation and transcription matters very early on and define respective strategies in order to keep evaluation and interpretation efforts to a minimum or at least within a feasible frame. The number one issue that kept coming back to us throughout all these lessons learned was the communication with participants. We asked ourselves, how can user research improve the lack of sign language accessibility within products, services, or technology when those research practices themselves are not even sign language accessible? The core of this dilemma really comes down to two main challenges. One, the communication towards participants, but also the communication from participants towards us researchers. In a sign language accessible, happy path world, both of these directions would work fine, transferring documents and information in an understandable way to participants while returning their statements and perspectives in utilizable forms while maintaining their original tone and character. Our experiences have shown, however, that this is not the case and that instead both directions are disrupted by language barriers. For one, validated and possibly even standardized research tools need to be translated into sign languages, which results in novel instruments with yet undetermined scientific quality, and that leads to massive problems in regard to a valid scientific assessment of results or interpretations. On the other side, assessing, documenting, and storing user-produced sign language content is just as problematic, because transcribing statements and discussions in a written form usually works well because text can easily be stored and quickly scanned. But in the case of content produced in sign language, textual representations are really difficult to establish because, just like with a photograph, sign language can be described in a highly detailed written form, but it can never be fully captured through text without the loss or distortion of the information contained. So to sum up, there are no perfect or clear solutions to these challenges yet. The only thing we can say is that our experiences have taught us that what research really needs is a shift in mindset, understanding and accepting that sign languages are just as present within our world as verbal languages are, and should therefore be equally integrated into the scientific world. Thank you so much.